In Chapter 1, Section 2, we will be measuring and constructing segments. And our first definition is a distance. And by distance, we mean the length. So if we're trying to find the distance or the length between these two things, we just subtract them. We can either do A minus B or B minus A. And then from there, we do the absolute value, and the absolute value makes that number, so it's always positive. And length is the same thing as distance, so you subtract the two and then find the distance. Congruent segments are two segments that have equal lengths, and right here, this is red, segment CD is congruent to segment PN, and CD is right there, PN is right there, and sometimes we put little tick marks on there, and since both of those have two tick marks, that means those are congruent. Midpoint of a segment is the center point, or the point that cuts that segment in half. And you will notice right here, AM, this piece right here, is congruent to MB, which is right here. And you'll notice those each have one tick mark, so those two are congruent. A bisector also cuts it in half. This segment bisects the other segment, and again AM is congruent to MB. You can bisect any shape. You can bisect a circle, you can bisect a rectangle, you can bisect a line, you can bisect an angle, but only a segment has a midpoint. And the segment addition postulate says AB plus BC equals AC. And if we draw a picture here, AB, BC, if you take this much of the segment plus this much of the segment, it equals the whole segment. So the little piece plus the bigger piece equals the whole thing. AB plus BC equals AC. So our first examples where we have to do some work. First of all, we are asked to find some lengths. So from B to C, you do the absolute value. 1 minus 3 is -2. And then absolute value makes that a +2. And if you had done that the other way around, 3 minus 1, you would see you would still end up with the same answer. To find the length from A to C, you can do a -2 minus 3, and then the absolute value. -2 plus a -3 is -5. And then when you find the absolute value of that, it is 5. Letter C, finding the distance from X to Y. Well, X is 1.5, and I'm going to write that as 1.5. Minus 5. You can grab your calculators if you need to. 1.5 minus 5 is -3.5. And then when you take the absolute value, that will be 3.5. And from X to Z, you will do 1.5 minus a -3. And when you zip zap that, 1.5 minus a -3 is 4.5, and absolute value means you make it positive. Example 2, we need to draw some pictures to go along with these two. And the first one, it says G is between F and H. So I'm going to draw an F right here and H right here. Doesn't say it's exactly in the middle, it's somewhere in between. So I'm kind of guessing right there. FG is 6. FH, the entire thing, is 11. So we would do 6 plus, call that D for distance, equals 11. And when you subtract 6 from both sides, D equals 5. And you might be able just to look at that and figure that out. And if you can do that, that's fine. Letter B, Y is between X and Z. So X, Z, and Y is somewhere here in between. XZ, this whole thing, is 3. This much is 1 1/3. And another way you could do this is just 3 minus 1 1/3, which would be 1 2/3. Now the next several examples are using the segment addition property. We need to take this piece plus that piece, and it will be the whole thing. So 17 plus 3x minus 5 equals 5x plus 2. This piece plus that piece equals the whole thing. 17 minus 5 is a 12 plus 3x equals 5x plus 2. Solving that, you subtract 3x from both sides, and you have 12 equals 2x plus 2. And when you subtract 2 from both sides, 10 equals 2x. Divide by 2, and x equals 5. Now if you look at that, it's a lot of work. We did a lot of work. We did that all correctly. However, this is not our final answer. We were asked to find NO, which is this entire distance. So we need to do 5 times 5 plus 2, and our final answer is 27. So even though we do all this work and solve for x, we're still not done. Letter D, you will have 3x minus 1 plus 13 equals 6x. Minus 1 plus 13 is a plus 12. From there, you subtract 3x from both sides, and you have 12 equals 3x. Dividing both sides by 3, x equals 4. And again, you're not done yet. You were asked to find DF, so 6 times 4 is 24. Example E, you will have 3x plus 6x plus 4 equals 14x minus 6. 3x plus 6x is 9x plus 4 equals 14x minus 6. From there, you subtract 9x from both sides, and you have 4 equals 5x minus 6. Adding 6 to both sides, you have 10 equals 5x, and x equals 2. You were asked to find PR, which is the whole distance. 14 times 2 is 28. Minus 6 is 22. Letter F, you have 20 plus n equals 2n minus 1. You subtract n from both sides. You have 20 equals n minus 1. And adding 1 to both sides, n equals 21. We were asked to find the whole distance. So if that's 20 and that's 21, our total distance then is 41. Letter G, xy, you will have a plus 6 equals 36. That becomes 2a plus 6 equals 36. Subtracting 6 from both sides, you have 2a equals 30. And then if you divide both sides by 2, a equals 15. This time you're supposed to find xy, which is just this part of it. So 15 plus 6 is 21. And we have a couple questions at the top of the next page. Now this time these say midpoint. D is the midpoint of EF. So D is right here in the middle. This piece is 4x plus 6. This piece is 7x minus 9. And that's all the information we have. When you look at this, you might think we don't have enough information to solve it. However, since we know that's a midpoint, we know these pieces are equal. So 4x plus 6 equals 7x minus 9. From there you subtract 4x from both sides. And you have 6 equals 3x minus 9. Adding 9 to both sides, you have 15 equals 3x. So x is going to equal 5. And if x equals 5, we have to find these three distances. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 6 is 26. 7 times 5 is 35, minus 9 is 26, and then the whole thing, 26 plus 26, will be 52. Letter I, S is the midpoint of RT. So S is right there. RS is a negative 2x. ST is a negative 3x minus 2. And those negatives seem kind of strange, but trust me, they will work out. So negative 2x equals negative 3x minus 2. Adding 3x to both sides, x equals negative 2. So when we put that in there, negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Negative 3 times negative 2 is a 6. Minus 2 is 4. And that makes the entire segment 8. Letter J, U is the midpoint of TV. So U is right here in the middle. This one's a little bit different. TV, so the whole thing, is 6x plus 4. UV is 5x minus 6. And again, kind of looks like we don't have enough information, but we know that these two pieces are the same size. So you will have 5x minus 6 plus 5x minus 6 equals 6x plus 4. So that becomes 10x minus 12 equals 6x plus 4. From there, you subtract 6x from both sides, and you have 4x minus 12 equals 4. Adding 12 to both sides, you have 4x equals 16. X equals 4. All that work, and we're not done yet. If x is 4, 5 times 4 is 20. Minus 6 is 14. So each of those pieces will be 14. 6 times 4 is 24. Plus 4 is 28. And the last one, P is the midpoint of NQ. So you will have 3x equals 2x plus 4. When you subtract 2x from both sides, x equals 4. So x equals 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 4 is 12. And then the whole thing, 12 plus 12 is 24.